The FBI is investigating Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. Monmouth University welcomes a new Hawk statue, and Facebook stories hit 300 million daily users. All this and more on this episode of Hawk TV News. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hawk TV News. I'm Dylan McIlloway.
And I'm Vincent Caranta. The Supreme Court confirmation battle continues after the Senate committee and the nation heard emotional and opposing testimonies. Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh was accused of sexual assault by Christine Blasey Ford. President Trump ordered an FBI open investigation to examine these allegations. The president's announcement came after swing vote Senator Jeff Flake said that he would not support Kavanaugh until the FBI reviewed the accusations. The FBI has until October 5th to investigate.
There is a new symbol of Monmouth University pride on campus. At the Brock Reed Common outside of Ocean First Bank Center, Monmouth University unveiled a bronze hawk. Measuring 15 feet high and weighing 29,000 pounds, the hawk is a gift from a few Monmouth University alumni. The hawk was sculpted and donated by Monmouth alum Brian Hanlon and his wife, Michelle. The hawk will officially be introduced at a ribbon-cutting ceremony during Monmouth University's homecoming festivities game on October 20th.
A 24-hour photo and video timeline called Facebook Stories has hit 300 million daily users. The social media platform admitted that it copied the disappearing timeline format from Snapchat in March of 2017. However, Facebook has nearly doubled Snapchat's number of daily users. Advertisements and music are predicted to be the next addition for Facebook Messenger Stories.
On September 24th, the co-founders of popular photo-sharing app Instagram announced they are leaving the company. Instagram Chief Executive Kevin Systrom and his Chief Technology Officer Mike Krieger were reportedly frustrated by Mark Zuckerberg's increased control over the company. In 2012, Zuckerberg purchased Instagram for $1 billion in cash and stock. This decision soon paid off because Instagram grew faster and larger than initially anticipated. In June, Instagram hit 1 billion users and is expecting an increase of revenue of more than $6 billion. The newly named head of Instagram is Facebook senior executive Adam Mosseri.
With the U.S. midterm elections coming up on November 6th, Snapchat is using its platform to get users registered to vote. Snapchat has 100 million active users in North America alone. The app will provide a registration link through an in-app alert, and Team Snapchat will send a related message. The link will send users to TurboVote, which Instagram has also partnered with to encourage voter registration. This feature is for anyone over the age of 18, which applies to 80% of Snapchat's users. There will also be a filter about National Voter Registration Day used as a promotion.
We now go to Vincent Caranta for a gaming update.
Hey guys, it's been a while since I gave a gaming news roundup, so let's get things started. The gaming community was left shocked when news broke out about Telltale Games laying off over 200 of their employees without severance pay and shutting its doors completely. The popular studio was famous for its narrative-driven style of gameplay and have released numerous successful titles such as The Walking Dead, Tales from the Borderlands, and Batman. Despite positive reception from both critics and fans, the studio cited poor sales in recent months and understaffing as reasons for shutting down. Future projects for a sequel to The Wolf Among Us, as well as the Stranger Things series, have been canceled, and it is currently uncertain whether or not the final season of The Walking Dead will be completed. 25 employees have remained to complete Minecraft Story Mode for Netflix. Moving on to more exciting news, the Overwatch World Cup made its final leg of the qualifying stages in Paris and capped off with an exciting matchup. Team France beat the United Kingdom 3-1, but both teams will be joining South Korea, Finland, the United States, Canada, China, and Australia in the round of 8. Here, teams will be facing off in an elimination bracket where the remaining 2 teams will face off in the grand finals. The final leg of the Overwatch World Cup will take place at BlizzCon at the beginning of November. Finally, Sony has decided to follow in Nintendo's footsteps and announced the PlayStation Classic. This miniature console is roughly 45% the size of the original PlayStation 1 and will be coming with 20 preloaded classic games, such as Final Fantasy VII, Tekken 3, and Ridge Racer Type 4. PlayStation Classic will cost about $100 and will release on December 3rd. That just about does it for me today, so I am off. Back to you guys at the desk. We have to take a short break, but stay tuned for more Hawk TV news.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Listen.
All it took was someone who would insist that I just try.
Suddenly, everything was turned around because they judge you.
You tell them, I don't need this.
No one is going to understand.
Unless they've been through it, how can they?
Then one day you realize,
You feel so hopeless.
I need help. I need help.
You feel so hopeless.
Then one day you realize,
Unless they've been through it, how can they understand?
I don't need this.
No one's going to judge you.
suddenly everything was turned around because they insist that I just try.
All it took was someone who would just...
Listen.
President Trump spoke at United Nations General Assembly on September 25th. In his speech, he condemned Iran for saying its leaders run a corrupt dictatorship that does not respect the sovereignty of other nations. Trump also credited closer ties with Saudi Arabia in helping the fight against extremism. In addition, he thanked North Korea leader Kim Jong-un for the steps he took towards peace, while adding that more work that needs to be done.
Hillary Clinton will help New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez raise money for his re-election. The embattled senator, who endorsed Clinton in both the 2008 and 2016 presidential elections, has had a tough time raising money for his campaign. Republican Bob Hugin is his opponent for his re-election to the Senate. Menendez was only able to raise $9 million compared to Hugin's $16.7 million. This means support from Clinton might increase donations from state Democrats. Clinton is expected to give an endorsement speech at a fundraising dinner in Jersey City on October 15th.
18-year-old Nanji Hall was sentenced to 5 years in prison on September 19th after pleading guilty to 2 counts of armed robbery against Rutgers University students in November of last year. While in custody at the Middlesex County Juvenile Detention Center, Hall admitted to making terroristic threats to an officer. Hall must serve 4 years of his sentence before he can be eligible for bail.
Former Google employee Jack Poulson is urging Washington lawmakers to investigate the tech giant over a modified search engine for use in China. In a letter sent to Capitol Hill, Poulson cited that Google's prototype search engine called Dragonfly violated user privacy laws. The project would allow a partner company in China to view people's search history based on phone numbers, as well as censoring controversial political topics. Keith Enright, Google's chief privacy officer, tested before a congressional committee, reaffirming the company's commitments to privacy and data. Google left China in 2010 after Chinese hackers exploited its corporate infrastructure.
Manchester United soccer team recorded a net loss of $50 million in the past fiscal year. The soccer team said the write-off was due to a U.S. tax reform in December that reduced the corporate income tax rate. The team needs a remeasurement for the tax position ending December 31st. Despite the net loss, Manchester United still recorded a revenue of $794 million. The team is expecting an increase of revenue within the next fiscal year.
A new medical device has been proven to greatly reduce the number of deaths caused by heart failure. The device is called MitraClip. It is a small clip that is inserted into the hearts of patients suffering with heart failure. The study was led by Dr. Greg Stone of Columbia University Medical Center. He conducted trials with over 600 patients of heart failure across the United States and Canada. MitraClip has been found to sharply reduce the death rate and also increases the quality of life for those experiencing heart failure. MitraClip is now approved by the FDA and will be used in hospitals across the country.
We now have to take another short break, but stay tuned for more Hawk TV news.
Hi! Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
For a TV update, we now go to Michael Orlando.
Hey guys, I'm here to talk to you about Season 2 of The Gifted. Warning, there will be spoilers. We return to The Gifted after all the events that previously happened into its Season 1 finale. A little recap from the end of the season is that Polaris used her metal-controlling powers to tear apart a plane. On the plane, there were many anti-mutant representatives and scientists that would do experiments on them. The mutant underground then separated into two branches, one side being the Inner Circle and the other side being the mutant underground. Starting up with the first episode of the second season, it begins with some of the other members of the Inner Circle, but most importantly, a very pregnant Polaris and a blonde Andy. Throughout the episode, the telepathic Frost Sisters and the new leader of the Inner Circle, Riva, are trying to find a safe house strong enough to hold Polaris for when she goes into labor. Revisiting our heroes in the mutant underground, we see a very torn Strucker family after the betrayal of Andy at the end of the first season. The Struckers, along with Thunderbird, Blink, and Eclipse, are still searching for the Inner Circle in order to reconnect with their loved ones. However, they haven't had much luck until they reach out to a group of mutants who can hack computers, where the mutant underground finally gets a hint of where the Inner Circle might be. Switching back to the Inner Circle, Polaris starts going into labor, in which Riva, the Frost Sisters, and Andy quickly act to get her to the safe house. As Polaris is in labor, we see lights flashing around the city, which Eclipse sees and alerts the team. The team rushes around the city and hopes to find Polaris before she gives birth to her child. However, during Polaris's final push, she ends up overloading the grid, which makes the mutant underground lose their trail. The episode ends with Polaris holding her new baby daughter, Dawn. This episode started the new season off well, and I can't wait to see what's in store. The Gifted airs on Fox Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Well, that's it for me, guys, with your TV update. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Mike. SiriusXM is acquiring music streaming service Pandora in an all-stock deal worth $3.5 billion. This transition will create the largest audio entertainment company with an expected revenue of $7 billion. This year, the satellite radio giant plans to maintain the Pandora brand and service with the weight of SiriusXM behind it. Pandora plans to better compete with streaming services such as Spotify. SiriusXM's CEO Jim Mayer also hopes to combining these two services will create a value for stockholders and consumers.
The new Joker movie, starring Joaquin Phoenix and directed by Todd Phillips, is now looking for paid extras to join the cast. Scenes for the movie are being shot in Jersey City and Newark on October 15th, 16th, and November 9th. Extras will be paid $143 for 10 hours. The new Joker movie will center on how the popular comic villain came to be. The movie will appear in theaters next year.
A movie theater chain with locations in New Jersey has filed for bankruptcy. Frank Theaters filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection between June and September. Frank Theaters has locations in Cape May, Bayonne, Northfield, and Egg Harbor Township. They also plan to open an entertainment complex near Princeton. A sign declaring the Northfield location closed for technical problems has been posted since last week, and calls to the cinema went unanswered. Bankruptcy files show that Frank Theaters is 3 months behind on rent at its Northfield property and in debt more than $700,000.
According to the 2018 QSR magazine report, Chick-fil-A earned more per store than any other fast food restaurant. It had beat the other leading food chains like McDonald's, Starbucks, and Subway. Some people speculate Chick-fil-A closing its doors on Sundays actually helps the food chain make more money. Chick-fil-A customers appreciate that the company cares about its business and its employees. An average Chick-fil-A unit has made around $4 million in 2017, compared to McDonald's that had around $2.6 million per unit.
We now go to Michaela Laster for an entertainment update.
Hey guys, Michaela here with your latest entertainment news. Starting you off with celebrity news. Bad Baby, most known as Cash Me Outside Girl from Dr. Phil, was interviewed on Real 92.3. During her interview, she played a game where she had to decide whether different celebrities are poop or fire. One of the celebrities happened to be Nicki Minaj. Looks like Bad Baby hesitated to answer at first, but she says she doesn't tap out. Her explanation on why she chose Nicki Minaj as poop is simply because she says Nicki is doing way too much. Bad Baby acknowledges that she listened to Nicki Minaj growing up, but also addresses the fact that Nicki is quite salty when it comes to Travis Scott, Kylie Jenner, their child Stormi, and even Cardi B. Doesn't look like Bad Baby is trying to start any beef with Nicki Minaj, but simply was just playing the game and keeping it real. I guess we'll see if Nicki takes it the wrong way and claps back. Moving on to Rihanna. For the second time of this year, there was a burglary at her home in LA. Luckily, nobody was home at the time, but property was stolen. Police have identified a vehicle that was associated with the burglary and has evidence of a suspect. But there's still further investigation. And to end off with a little adventurous news. We all know it's spooky season, so a fun way to show your Halloween spirit is by taking a trip to Six Flags Great Adventure. The amusement park is currently hosting Fright Fest until October 31st. And if you are in need of a costume for the season, no need to stress because Fashion Nova just launched their first Halloween collection for men and women. So that's all for today's entertainment news. Back to you guys in the studio.
We now go to Arielle Batista for more on the earthquake and tsunami in Indonesia.
More than 830 dead after earthquake and tsunami in Indonesia. Rescue workers are searching through what is left of some places for survivors. The earthquake's magnitude was 7.5, which after triggered a tsunami that sent waves of about 3 meters high. After the death toll rose and the authorities say more bodies could be recovered in the upcoming days. Around 2.4 million people were impacted by the earthquake, according to the Indonesian Disaster Management Agency spokesman Sutopo Purwo Nugroho. At least 5 foreigners are unaccounted for. There haven't been reports of U.S. citizens being affected by the earthquake. Families carried the few things they were able to gather while heading to shelters where thousands hoped to receive aid. At least 17,000 were left without homes. The lack of personnel and equipment has slowed down the rescue. The roads are severely damaged and blocked by landslides, which are also making it difficult to access the damaged areas. That's all from me. Back to you guys at the desk.
We have to take another short break, but when we return, Nate Gonzo has an exciting recap on Monmouth Sports.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, they can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
Oh, emojis! I thought the conversation just got dumber.
Ugh, internet trolls, just ignore them.
I like you just the way you are.
I believe in you!
She's a hugger. Give her a squeeze.
Help up the hand!
Ah, there you go.
Thanks, mate.
You're killing it, Jane!
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Minds can achieve anything. We make sure they get to college. Federal student aid provides more than $150 billion in grants, loans, and work-study funds to make college possible for anyone with the mind to get there. Because if given the chance, minds will do great things. Federal Student Aid, proud sponsor of the American Mind. Learn more about money for college at studentaid.gov.
Thank you, Dylan. Welcome back to your weekly sports update. Let's take a look at how your Hawks are doing. Senior wide receiver Reggie White Jr. turned a screen pass into an 84-yard touchdown that helped Monmouth beat Wagner 54-47 in the final minute of the game. The reception, White's 213th, vaulted the senior above Neil Sterling for most receptions all time as a Monmouth Hawk. The team will take a 3-2 record into a home matchup against Bucknell on October 13th. The women's soccer team won their third straight match as they downed Siena 1-0. Junior Lexi Palladino netted her 5th goal of the season in the 20th minute. The victory bumped the team's record to 8-3-1. They'll travel to Buffalo, New York to battle Canisius on October 3rd. After falling behind 1-0 early, the field hockey team rallied back to defeat Ryder 2-1. Senior Georgia Garden Batchup scored both goals, including the matchup winner with 2 minutes left. The team now sits at 6-5 and will host LIU Brooklyn on October 5th. Finally, men's soccer was shut out for the second straight game, falling 1-0 to MAC rival Siena. Senior Zachary Perea led the team with 2 shots, while freshman Sean Murray registered 5 saves. The team will look for their first conference win of the season when they play host to Fairfield on October 3rd. For more sports updates, check out the Extra Point right here on Hawk TV. Back to you guys at the desk.
That's all for this week of Hawk TV News. Thank you for joining us. I'm Vincent Caranta.
And I'm Dylan McGillway. Be sure to tune in next time for another exciting edition of Hawk TV News.
Hi.
Hello.
How's day college getting?
Oh, me too.
Awesome. What are you gonna do over winter break?
I was gonna watch some Netflix, but I'm like really tired of Netflix.
Same. I wish there was something new to watch online.
Me too, but what could it be?
Hawk.
Space.
TV.
Space.
MU.
Enter.
So M Factor is basically a take on X Factor. So we have performers either just with their music or they have their guitars or pianos. It's basically a talent competition. One person gets voted off every week. We try to do different themes, and I think the season's been going pretty well. We have a really great act, and I can't wait to see what next week brings.
My name is Christopher Sabatino. I'm the director of tonight's program. So basically I just look at the monitor here and see which camera shots look good, and while I'm looking at those, I decide which ones to go do. Then I tell the technical director who sits in the chair over there which cameras to cut to.
Are you working the Steadicam tonight?
I am.
What does that entail?
It entails a lot of steady hands and a lot of watching my back so I don't run into Dylan. He's on the other camera and he likes getting in my way. Camera away. Put that glove away. Starting up, you guys all ready?